I never believed in the supernatural until I spent a night in Ravenwood Manor. Perched on a lonely hill outside of town, the manor had been abandoned for decades. Locals whispered of its dark history and the restless spirits that roamed its halls. But when my best friend Jake dared me to spend a night there, I couldn't back down. $50 and bragging rights were on the line. I arrived just before sunset, armed with a flashlight, a sleeping bag, and a sense of bravado. The mansion loomed ominously against the darkening sky, its windows like empty eyes staring into my soul. The front door creaked loudly as I pushed it open, the sound echoing through the empty foyer. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. The grand staircase, covered in a layer of grime, led up to the second floor. I decided to explore the ground floor first, starting with the parlor. Old furniture covered in white sheets stood like ghosts in the dim light. I set up my sleeping bag in the center of the room and lit a few candles for light. As darkness fell, the house seemed to come alive. Every creak and groan of the old wood set my nerves on edge. I tried to distract myself by exploring further. The library, filled with ancient, moldy books, was particularly fascinating. One book, bound in cracked leather, caught my eye. It was a journal, its pages yellowed with age. Curiosity piqued, I began to read. The journal belonged to a man named Thomas Hargrove, who had lived in the manor in the late 1800s. He wrote about strange occurrences, footsteps in empty hallways, whispers in the dead of night, and shadows that moved on their own. The last entry was chilling. I fear I am losing my mind. The spirits grow bolder each night. They whisper to me, telling me to do terrible things. I must leave this place before it consumes me. A sudden crash from the hallway made me jump, the journal slipping from my hands. Heart pounding, I grabbed my flashlight and ventured into the dark corridor. The beam of light cut through the darkness, revealing a shattered vase on the floor. I bent down to pick up the pieces when I heard it, a faint, almost imperceptible whisper. "Get out!" I stood up quickly, the flashlight shaking in my hand. "Who's there?" I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. There was no answer, just the eerie silence of the old house. I backed away slowly, my mind racing with fear. Returning to the parlor, I tried to calm myself. It was just the wind, I told myself, or maybe an animal. But deep down, I knew better. The oppressive feeling of being watched was growing stronger. I decided to hunker down in my sleeping bag and wait out the night. Hours passed, but sleep eluded me. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. "Leave. Leave now." I squeezed my eyes shut, praying for morning to come. Suddenly, I felt a cold breath on my neck. My eyes snapped open, and I saw it. A shadowy figure standing at the foot of my sleeping bag, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. Panic surged through me. I scrambled out of the sleeping bag and ran for the door. The figure followed, its whispers turning into a deafening roar. "Leave!" I burst through the front door and into the night, not daring to look back. I didn't stop running until I reached my car. As I sped away from Ravenwood Manor, I glanced in the rearview mirror. The house stood silent and dark, but in one of the upstairs windows I saw a shadowy figure watching me. I never spoke of that night to anyone, and I never went back for my $50. Some bets aren't worth winning,